Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna give you a look at my signs before I get started. There. Anyway, so I pulled 2 cards from the Declarations of Mary Magdalene deck, and I actually pulled one. Well, I pulled one, but I got 2. They're new, so they still really kind of stick together. But when I turned on the camera and tried to get started, I could not remember what I was supposed to be talking about. Like, I came to the cards with a something, and I couldn't remember what the something was. Today, I remembered. I had an encounter on Substack. I had a follower, and you know what? I'm just going to read it. I made a post about it. Lilydale and the Scholar. Oh, crap. I got to edit it more. This thing does functions that I don't ask it to do. Changes spellings, and I think I've already edited it, and then I'll post something and there'll be a bunch of stuff I fixed that's gotten messed up again. I don't know. I don't like that. Sorry. Got sidetracked. Okay, so I'm just trying to find a place where I can see and not block my face. Okay, so Lilydale and the Scholar. Lilydale and the Scholar. A Tale of Interference. On Substack, I got a new sub. As I always do. Stupid bifocals. As I always do, I went to their page to see what kind of things they posted. It's been my experience, and not only on that platform, that some people like my likes of their work and positive comments, of course. However, when they read my written pieces, my long-form submissions, they read my work and the content, and they flee. Yay! Some get so offended that they block or mute me when they unsub and go. I'm not hugely famous on that response, but that is something that deserves a long-form piece on its own, rather. There's a dilemma I have, because I do it too. I execute other accounts. I just, they're gone. The homepage was deceptive, and I think it was by design. There was a tiny bit of pagan imagery and not a lot of bio. I read one of the posts that they made that was right on top. It told kind of a weird story about taking a trip to visit Lilydale. It's a lakeside community in Pomfret, New York, and it's a known community of mystics and psychics that people can come to visit. There you can attend mediumship and other metaphysical instruction, like seminars, can be attained or obtained, either one, I guess. But I want to change it to obtained. Voice to text also. Anyway, never mind. There's a peaceful, protective... Oh. Again, it misunderstood me. There, they are. They, apostrophe R-E, for God's sake, is a... What? They're a peaceful, protective... What? I published this. Damn it, what the hell does that even say? And the master's on this phone, so I can't stop it. Alright, I'll just continue. I'll just continue, not discontinue, in case my speakers go speaker to bad text. Foul up. There's a peaceful, protective, they are peaceful and protective of their community and residents. Protective of its tranquility, and the other Wait, you spell residence. I misread the tone of the guy. Oops. God dang it, get out of the way. They definitely came across as male, but the only name I saw was Wolf something, not a given first name. They described going there to Lilydale and asking them about ceremonies and rituals that I know are black magic. I thought, why are they? It's not that kind of place, even though I've never been. I'd like to someday. I would love to visit and partake of what they have to offer. I was offended. Whoops. Damn it, I did it again. Oh, great. Now I gotta fly, too. I was offended by what the guy was doing there. I reacted, commented that he was probably getting the negative reactions and invitations to vacate the premises of the establishments for agitating those serenity-seeking people. And they came back with a showy and anusy retort. They had to show me how cognizant they were of the craft by spelling magic with a K. I wish it had extended to the fact that what he was doing was harassment. I wondered why he didn't go there or go where his questions. I wondered why he didn't go where his questions would be welcome. I wondered if he hadn't actually oppressed himself and didn't realize that he was the one that needed to be exorcised. I didn't spell it with a K because I don't want to give the dark any urging from me. I want to activate its attention in no way. At that point, I started to understand how badly I'd been snookered by this guy. I thought he didn't get what he was doing. I didn't quite get how devious he was. What the hell? That doesn't even... That is some bad syntax. I have to fix that. I'll be right back. There, better. I didn't quite get how devious he was until he revealed himself to be. I think the goal was he was going to root out the evil mystics and psychics as, in the eyes of God, seers are, I don't remember the word exactly, but it was some kind of biblical terminology that equates to, like, anathema. Like, this person claimed that God thinks that seers are terrible and evil and bad, and I'm going, yeah, but, like, God is the creator of all, and all would include those, so are you sure about that? Are you sure? Are you saying he made some kind, he, it, she, are you saying it made some kind of mistake? or did God do it wrong? And it's funny, too, like, I'll get to this, but when I go a little further, the guy actually says, or he said, like, when it happened, that anybody that thinks they're God and can, like, predict the future is evil. And I'm like, well, how did they get endowed with it in the first place? Like, all right, let me just move on. So, I think the goal was he was going to root out the evil mystics and psychics, as in the eyes of God, seers are some kind of anathema. This is what the guy had to say. This is not me talking. I'd love to be more precise, but he since blocked me. So I no longer have access to the conversation. I didn't him because I was the psychic vampire hunter after him. While I normally avoid confrontation, I was enjoying myself sparring with him. So you're thinking you're just having a lively debate with a religious zealot. Usually they're into it and everybody gets to extend and expand their understanding on theology. Not one, sorry, let me try that again. Usually they're into it and everyone gets to extend and expand their understanding on theology. Not one either party would adopt or agree with necessarily, but both have a new component to their awareness. That can't be bad, right? So I'm the wrong, God, I'm not the reading person right now. I'm the wrong person to be showing any witch trials good type attitudes, which is why I felt protective of Lilydale, I guess. This guy described a scene in a restaurant, and I suspect he's presenting himself in a far better light than the one he's pretty evidently, from his own telling, portraying it. He's so excited by what he did with his pressuring and insulting of the patrons and staff that he was able to make it come to blows. That is not, I don't think, a normal occurrence there. Like, I think the vibe is generally everybody doesn't want that to be the vibe. They claimed that because of their history as an amateur boxer, he stood passively and didn't hit back, saying he would have seriously injured them. He says he allowed himself to be hit. He says security video proved it after his lawyer attained it. There's that word again, but that's where I wanted to use attain. I'll fix it. Even though this has already been published, at least with WordPress, you can go back and fix your edit. I accidentally hit publish on my Substack app and published it before I could edit it at all. So it's voice text, but it's all messed up, like witch is spelled W-H-I-C-H and not like Wicked Witch. And so when I first got on Substack, you couldn't edit your notes, and they've since added that. But they didn't do it good, because when you do it, the original is still there, and then the edited one, I guess, is somewhere. I don't know, but it seems like there's two. Sometimes I find the original that's not edited. Sometimes I find the other that is, and then I find the one that's not. So I don't know why there's two. It makes no sense to me, but I don't know code or any of that kind of garbage. Anyway, I got sidetracked. So he says the security video proved it after, and he made liars of the staff and clientele. Like, they called the police on him because he was making trouble and starting a fight, and so he was then able to say, because there was, like, security video in the restaurant, that he stood there and, like, didn't start physically fighting with anyone. I don't think he stood there silently. I don't think he was ever silent when he stepped in the place in that town. Let me move on. That was how he told it, and he was released from jail like the righteous hero he describes himself to be. I am skeptical because he instigated all of them, all of the incidents he described, that he himself incurred. He's the one that went somewhere where nobody reached out and touched them uninvited. I do not care for that. We got into a discussion on scripture. That was me trying not to disagree, but to get across to him that there were between the lines material to be read in the Bible or in scripture. That there is probably more to be taken symbolically rather than literally. I wasn't being aggressive or deliberately derisive or insulting. I was keeping it light, I thought. Enjoying a debate, something I rarely do because I said it, damn it. End of conversation. And that's why I avoid confrontation. I don't want to argue, not over my carefully considered positions, nor hasty, reflective answers. Reflexive is what that should be. More editing. I don't want to be disagreed with. It happens no matter what I want, though, because agreements are disagreements. I fixed that already. Why? Sorry. It happens no matter what I want, though, because disagreements are two-sided, and You're up, not you are up. God, who told you to change anything? Oh, no. Yeah, I already edited this before I posted it. What the shit, phone? Why are you screwing me up? It's this iPhone. I'm not a fan. I prefer Androids. They do what you can expect and not... It most certainly doesn't re-edit stuff that I edited and saved and updated and posted. What the hell? Sorry, I just want to make an aside here. I have an amethyst wand that sometimes I have it in my hands when I'm talking. You may have seen it. And I didn't get it that very long ago, so it's like still got novelty, and I just really like it. And I cannot find that thing anywhere in my house right now. And I am pretty good about putting stuff in the same place so stuff does not turn up missing, and I always keep it right here. And I rarely take it out of here, although I know I had it in my hand when I was like doing stuff around the house. And I thought maybe I might have had it in my hands when I was meditating, but I don't remember that. I thought maybe I had it in my hand when I like sat in my chair and fell asleep with it, and maybe it fell somewhere, but I didn't find it. So every once in a while, something that I always am looking for or always use turns up missing. And then I have to go a little bit nuts because, like I said, I always put stuff in the same place so it doesn't turn up missing. And I can't find it, and I was like, okay, just get a grip. Because what usually happens is when I stop obsessing, the thing turns up. And I always feel like, what is this, some kind of little test? Or, like, Sterling Psychic Medium has said that your stuff will go missing. Well, lots of people have said this, but your stuff can go missing if you have a mischievous spirit in the house. Like, I don't know, poltergeist or some type of impish little trickster game player. And they'll just move it just to screw with you and make you all nutty. So I'm not gonna go nuts, I decided. And I really wanted to have it in my hand when I was doing this, but oh well. I just have to, like, let it go. It can't have gone anywhere. It has to be in here. I didn't leave. No one's been here. It was here after my caregiver was here, so it didn't go out the door with him. And it wouldn't have, because I had it in my hand almost the whole time he was here. I don't know where that thing is. Okay, don't give in. Don't give in. I'll just get back to what I'm reading over here. So, yeah, I was saying that the last thing I said was I don't want to be disagreed with, but it doesn't matter what I want because of the whole arguments having two sides thing. And your op just may not be on the same page as you. They may be raring to argue. Okay, anyway, let me get back to it. It became clear that this guy had endowed himself with a knighthood and a skewed belief that he had a mission to right ungodly wrongs, claiming anyone channeling messages is trying to usurp God. Messages which are, again, not the messenger's personal opinion, and they're not evil. God, I gotta fix this. I did such a bad job. I know I fixed that. I must not have hit update. That must be what it is. Sorry, there's like 3 hamsters running around in my head. And they're all like a little nuts. So yeah, I mean, this dude really thinks that, like, psychics and any type of, like, mystic, sensitive, empath, anybody that can feel something is some kind of demon or whatever. And, let me continue. So, I think that's what he was suggesting, that the psychics and mystics are trying to do. I doubt it. I've never heard of a psychic who wasn't to some degree Jesus people. I don't know what this dude's talking about. I brought up King Solomon, one of many kings of the day that used psychics and astrology. To this day, seers and astrologers are employed by world leaders routinely. They may not talk about it because, as in Solomon's time, and before, and then not, and then before that, and then not. And like it just flips back and forth the acceptability of like the supernatural side of, or like prophecy or, you know, divination. Which anyone can do, by the way. Like some people are like, they have like facilities all switched on, and other people got a little something, but everybody's got something. And if you don't have anything, if you don't feel like you have it, it's because it's an unexercised muscle. It's an unused ability. So of course you can't do anything with it. You gotta like start using it. You know, same way you would with weightlifting or anything that you don't know how to do at the beginning. You start doing it and you learn how to do it and you get better at it. I mean, do we not all know this? It's just like it's like a fractal. So Solomon fell for a worshiper of the cult of Baal, and that was what's now called an evil god, but I don't know. I think it was like a minor god, though. I mean, it wasn't like God or the universe God. And I guess that's what was wrong with it, because it wasn't a guy, I don't think, like Apple White that talked a bunch of people into committing suicide. Like, that is a lot of pathology there. That whole room, that whole house, they had a lot of unaddressed issues. Okay, so anyway, so Solomon fell for a worshiper. It's misspelled bad. What the hell, girl? Worshiper of the cult of Baal. And Solomon knew he wasn't to worship any god other than the one God that we know in the Bible. So I said of the Bible. I don't think Christianity or the Bible as we know them had been institutionalized yet. We're talking source material here. But he chose to follow the priestess he made his queen. Love is blind. Because he paid and he was forgiven, redeemed, and restored after his trials, which you can look up. They're pretty messed up. Hi, where's the end of that sentence I just read? Redeemed and restored after his trials for deviating from faith in the one true God. That sounds like something a typical Joe Blow would say. Less so a biblical scribe, but that's just my opinion. In the Bible's own characterization, or it's the Bible's own characterization, all I said was, yeah, he took a left turn. He did the evil stuff, but he made the decision to do that. He lost faith in soothsayers and seers when they were simply honest with him. But God, this thing sucks. If he disliked what they said, where'd he go? If he disliked what he heard, he killed him. He killed the sensitive, as if it was their opinion. I point out again that the sensitive was the conduit, and fucks, will you stop doing that? The seer, the sensitive, where is it? The sensitive was the conduit and didn't say anything. It's not personal, not for them. Also, don't kill the messenger, and so on. That infuriated this guy, and he kept coming back for more. He became derisive and kept trying to insult my intelligence. The sure sign of a cornered angry beast, because the claims are baseless. You may disagree, but I'm hardly illiterate. All I do is literate. I properly befuddled the man. I even said at one point, I didn't know you were an anti-evil religious scholar. And man, was that ever his third rail? He flipped. He, and I imagine him yelling it, said he had been a professional religious scholar for 20 years. Oh, I guess he would have put an exclamation point on that. I didn't. Well, sometimes you know something you didn't know you knew. I just realized I did something then. It really bugs me when other people do it, but I said again before there was anything to refer back to when I was talking about the seer or the psychic, whatever. The message not being from them personally. It's not what they're saying. They're just channeling it, right? They're the conduit. But the first time I mentioned it, I said again. So there was no again to refer to in that case. It bugs the living out of me, so apologies. I know, I'm talking more than I'm reading. He had more silly insults, but they just rolled off my back. They were obviously panicked utterances. He and his rigid beliefs were being weakened, contested, and he was lashing out. As if his vocabulary to express himself had ceased to function. It was very easy to gently tease him because I did not feel threatened by him. He tried to put down my understanding of his position, and I had to shut him down with my own 6 years of catechism at Catholic school. That's church and religious instruction on top of academics. And church 5 days a week and twice on Sunday. Whoa! They really stuff a lot into your brain. So the Jesuits inadvertently well-educated me, and it became my method as to deconstructing scripture. Philosophically and psychologically, the people and the motivations in the scripture, in contrast to the common era, that's just fascinating to me. Like trying to understand what made them tick and how would they tick in this era and vice versa even. I'm not you leave out technology. Just for both people, it would be a massive culture shock. If you're a woman and you go from here back to when Jesus and Mary were walking around, I think you had a lot of restrictions on you as a woman. It was not good. I most certainly don't want to return to that, but it seems like a lot of people in my government do. They better get over that or they're going to have a problem. They want to do a lot of things that are going to cause problems. Okay, talking and not reading again. So yeah, the Jesuits educated me. And I didn't bother to argue with the Bible itself. A lot of people still find comfort in it, and knowing everyone isn't trying to hear my perspective, I know there's no point in speaking of expansion on the subjects in there. I mean, this guy certainly didn't want to. Usually it's like an out-of-date owner's manual to me. Oh my God. Time has marched on, and a lot of the contents are behind the times. I adjusted. My foe has opted not to, and preferred to deny that my opinion had validity. I believe this is because he's trapped in the belief he already knows everything, in my opinion. He thought my opinion was wrong or misguided or whatever. I know what we shared there. What was that? I tried to turn into... What do they call that thing that 2 Chainz use? The voice changer thing? Auto-tune. Every once in a while, some weird sound comes out of me that sounds like auto-tune, and I have no idea how I did that. Sorry, talking and not reading. So yeah, I know what we shared was an energy exchange and a co-creation. That means that on some level the encounter was not random and never would have taken place had we not agreed to do so. I don't even mean that it happened because it's in the soul plan or blueprint. This was more immediate. This took place in real time. Doesn't mean it's not included in the blueprint, but this felt pretty spontaneous. And we do have our own free will, and we have the ability to make decisions on the fly. At any rate, we both said goodbye a few times, to put it nicely. So it wasn't. But, I mean, he just kept getting, like, insulting, which, come on, man, you don't have any, like, receipts or something. You just gotta go with the insults that were just ridiculous. I said to him that I was sorry I was giving him cognitive dissonance, because when we were talking about Solomon, King Solomon, and what he did, I said, and I that's when I was saying to him, you know, you shouldn't blame the psychics, because they're just carrying information, you know. I mean, and they've been around forever. I mean, I said what I said in there, and, you know, government leaders have them, and they just keep it quiet, because whether it's, like, in style or not, it'll go back out of style. Or at least that's been the pattern here in the States. Probably everywhere, you know. Like, we kind of have a thing with the patterns and the cycles. Wall Street has it. The seasons have it. Well, those are getting all wonky, too. What was I saying? I don't know. Does it matter? It might, but now it's gone. So, at any rate, we both said goodbye a few times, put it nicely, but someone always came back with something to say. I finally let him go, even though he just couldn't do it without including another insult. My farewell, gave him an invitation to return and discuss again should he have questions. God. I let him know I'm here for it, and now I'm blocked. That's okay. I know I made an impression, and now maybe he'll relax. Yeah, I know, that's Delulu. You didn't have the exchange with this guy. I didn't even mention the fact that I do card readings on video. I am a sensitive. So, like I said, that is not normal for me to, like, seek out someone and start a dialogue like that. But, like I said, I was having fun, and I wouldn't have started it unless it felt like I could have a conversation with the person, you know. And I didn't say productive, just a conversation, which is a start for a lot of us in, like, across the board. We have issues communicating and speaking with clarity, and I think we all know that when we are not clear, that creates all kinds of problems. So I'm going to do my second reading of the Mary Magdalene cards, and the first card I have is the number 1 card, and it says, "My true voice shall be heard through the women of this world once again, for I am, and thou art too, Mary Magdalene." So I had to meditate on this a little bit, because I was like, I pulled it knowing that I wanted it to talk with me about dealing with this guy, this religious scholar guy, who I think, like, what he's doing, like, going out and bothering, like, Lilydale, for instance. I wanted to ask him what the vegetation was like there, because I've seen it, and it's very nice, and it's very lush. And maybe we've all heard of the Badlands, and what that refers to is the land is bad. It is not fertile. You can't grow stuff there. usually has a funky feel to it when you're actually on the location, which also makes it like, I don't want to stay here long enough to do anything but turn around and leave. So I wanted to ask him, was it Lush or was it the Badlands? But I didn't, because I really wasn't trying to like mess with this guy and just screw with him, because I don't like it when it happens to me. I don't like to see people do it to other people. I don't like it. That is you saying something, but it's not honest. You know, like, is something bothering you? Or, do you have something to say? Can you say it without acting like a, I'm just gonna say it, jerk? But she thought I was gonna say something else. So, I wanted to pull cards with all of that in mind, because he said he was a professional religious scholar for 20 years. And I thought, you don't seem to be acting like, what religion were you studying? Okay, so I felt like when I was talking to him, it was almost like I could have said it wasn't my normal voice, because I already said that's not something I normally do. He did follow me. I didn't just like see him online and just beeline and start messing with this guy. They followed me, and like I said in the piece, I always go look first, which no one does. Like, people will think I said something I did was funny in like the feed, where I liked something or said something funny along with a picture or a meme, or like whatever. Like I said, like, they like their stuff to get liked, or, you know, good comments. Who doesn't like that? But yeah, it's not, I don't normally like go, I don't like confrontation. I mean, I can do it, I just don't enjoy it. I don't like that buildup of emotion. It's too close to anger, and maybe it shouldn't be, but that's how it is with me. And so instead of dealing with that, I don't do confrontation. It's not a problem. So yeah, it was unusual for me to start talking to this guy the way I was talking to him, although I didn't say anything I don't believe. Like, everything that came out of my mind, even if I was speaking with her true voice, her voice gave mine truth, I think. Like, I wasn't channeling her as in the way that I was, like, in a trance, and I was literally saying stuff Mary, like, it wasn't even me. Like, I was just aside, and Mary just stepped in and used my form to say stuff. That's not what happened. But I did feel like I certainly took more time than I was kind of surprised that I was taking the time that I was taking to choose my words before answering the guy, because I can be impetuous, and then if I get excited, I'm even less able to, you know, keep still. So I did feel like I had some help talking to this guy, and I wonder what she thought of him, because you don't go after the good people whose gardens are growing nice and looking for evil. You go someplace dark and dirty with all of the trappings of all of that. Like, he just was looking at how beautiful it is there, and all the well-kept houses, and all of the happy people, happy to be with each other. And I mean, they created an atmosphere there. They wanted to be good. They wanted to feel good. You're meant to go there and get healing and, you know, learning, and that's nurturing, and it's all positive stuff. And also, how did you not know that you were not in an evil place when you walk in there talking your stupid black magic, and everybody is repelled by what you're saying, and you? The guy still thought there was something wrong with them. Would have made sense if it looked like Salusa Secundus there, but It doesn't, but you know where it does look like that? I'm thinking in that guy's heart and in his mind, because he went in a place that it's just good, okay? And also Lily, in the name, Lily is associated with the Virgin Mary. Do you think those people don't know that? Like I said, I don't know any, like, sensitive that is not some kind of Jesus people. I'm not saying that they're, like, religious, going to the church and all of that, but I'm talking about, like, the new Christians, the new Christs. Okay, the new Christendom. Okay, that gave me a headache. So, the next card was number 2. They were sticking together, I think. Although, let's see, I mean, it might be that they were stuck together, but it also will be, I have it here to say something, to interact with it, to listen to what it has to say. What have you to say? Thou that does not wish to unfold the truth of thy heart remains a misery in a misery of time. So how do I feel like that relates to the religious scholar? What was I just saying? Do happy people go take a dump in happy punch bowls? No. Is it good when a jilted ex shows up drunk at a wedding, at his ex's wedding, that everybody's so happy about, and it's just all love, and here comes Mr. Get drunk and beat her up and then get flowers and apologize the next day guy that no one wants around, like, P.U. That's like what that guy is doing. And the other stuff I read in his feed, he is a big, like, tell people what they should be doing according to him, which he did it on such a broad scale. It's like, you know, no one personally here. What exactly do you have a problem with? He had a problem with people making money on Substack using AI, because it's evil, of course. He should move to Italy. He'd fit in well there with that guy that tried to prosecute Amanda Knox for murder. That guy is like a warlock. He knows like all the evil stuff. He knows evil stuff that I never even heard of. I think he dreamed some of that up. I think he's got an evil snail in his brain, making him think wrong stuff. I don't know where the snail came from, but I guess it's a snail. But, you know, kind of makes sense, because how could you think straight with slime on your brain? Okay, I don't know. That just veered off somewhere weirder. I should go. I really wanted to make this short, but then I had to read the piece. But I kind of had to, I think, to flesh out the cards more. Anyway, thank you and good night.